This is very much the case with the planing or dressing of timber. The preparation of rough-sawn timber into dressed timber requires the production of a face side and a face edge square to the face side. The timber is planed to width and thickness, so it is ready to be cut to length for joinery construction. Carrying out this process involves knowing how to sharpen and set a plane blade, how to use a plane and a marking gauge, and how to plane true to size. To sharpen a plane blade, the lever cap, cap iron and plane blade are removed from the plane body and the cap iron and the blade taken apart. If a screwdriver is used to release the cap iron from the blade, this should be done with the assembly flat on the bench. Holding it in the hand could lead to injury. Separate the cap iron and the blade by rotating them apart. This prevents damage to the blade cutting edge. The blade is ground at an angle of 25 degrees. Any resulting burr is removed from the back of the blade. The blade is sharpened to a cutting bevel of 30 degrees. Wear to the oil stone will be evened out by honing over the entire surface. The burr is again removed by holding the back of the blade flat on the surface of the stone. A honing guide can be used to produce a consistent sharpening bevel. With the grinding and sharpening bevels completed, the cap iron and the blade are reassembled. To protect the sharpened blade, care is again taken to rotate them together with the cutting edge extended past the end of the cap iron. Incorrect assembly will damage the cutting edge. The cap iron is adjusted to a suitable distance from the cutting edge and tightened securely. A handy general purpose setting is about 1.5 millimeters. The assembled cap iron and blade are placed in the mouth of the plane and locked into place with the lever cap. The bench well is being used here to protect the cutting edge during assembly. By sighting along the sole of the plane, the cutting depth of the blade can be adjusted from fine to coarse using the knurled knob. The lateral adjustment lever is used to position the cutting edge evenly in the center of the plane mouth. The correct stance when planing is with the dominant hand nearer the bench and the front foot roughly underneath the near end of the timber. Steady strokes with even pressure are made along the timber. Cross-handed planing should be avoided as this reduces the effective length of the plane. A shorter plane follows any irregularities in the surface of the timber. A longer plane bridges these irregularities to give a straight surface. Downward pressure during the stroke should be balanced to keep the sole flat. The leading hand is active at the start of the stroke. Both hands are effective in mid-stroke, and the trailing hand is in control at the end of the stroke. Planing is made easier by reducing friction between the plane and the timber. This can be achieved by the application of oil from a pad. Paraffin wax can also be used. The cutting edge should be protected by placing the plane on its side when not in use. When planing a narrow edge, the fingers of the leading hand can be used as a guide to control the position of the plane on the timber. It is essential to establish the direction of the grain in the timber being planed. Planing is done with the grain, that is, with the grain lines rising to the surface of the timber in the direction the planing cut is being made. It should quickly become apparent when the plane is working against the grain. Planing across the direction of the grain, or end grain planing, introduces the particular problem of breakaway at the edge of the timber. This can be overcome in various ways. A chamfer can be cut on the problem edge to prevent splintering, and the timber planed towards the chamfer. The end grain can also be planed from each edge to the centre, where breakaway can be avoided. Marking gauges may be either single purpose with one cutting spur only, or combination gauges with both a single spur and paired spurs for mortising work. The required distance is adjusted approximately and the locking screw tightened firmly. Fine adjustment is made by tapping the end of the stem and then tightening the screw fully. The gauge is held in a comfortable grip with the thumb and the forefinger on the stock and the other fingers around the stem. The corner of the stem runs on the timber and the spur trails to produce the cut, the thumb pushing the gauge away from the body. To produce a stopped gauge line, press the spur into the timber at the stop point, and then gauge to the hole made. All these component skills are now applied to planing the rough sawn timber true to size, or dressing all round. This involves planing, testing and marking a face side and a face edge, gauging to width and planing to the gauge line, and gauging and planing to thickness. Select the face side and determine the direction of the grain. After removing the rough sawn surface with a coarse plane setting, the blade is adjusted to make finer cuts with more accuracy. 3 tests are applied to this face side. Test for straight. Any hollow or round must be removed. Test for flat. Once again, hollow and round are unacceptable. Test for wind or twist with a pair of winding sticks. Note any correction that may be necessary. Any adjustments indicated by these 3 tests are carried out and a check made to ensure they were accurate in producing a true surface. When this check has been satisfied, the face mark is applied to this side. The face edge is prepared in a similar way. The face edge is tested for straight. It is also tested for square to the face side. It's important that the stock of the square be placed against the face side. Any corrections needed are made. After checking, the face edge is marked. The face side and face edge marks meet at their common arris. The marking gauge is set to the required width and the timber gauged all round. The timber is planed to width to this gauge line. A reliable indicator that the correct width has been achieved is the breakaway of the feather edge as the plane reaches the gauge cut. Reset the gauge to the required thickness and gauge the timber all round. Plane the timber to thickness by removing the waste to the gauge line. Make a final check for flat on this side. The timber is dressed all round and ready for accurate joinery work.